Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today the Pokemon Generation shorts came out, both episodes. Episode 1, The Adventure, and Episode 2, The Chase. So, it's time to talk about them. Anyway, let's keep this fast, let's keep this brief, let's keep it effective. Pokemon Generations, 2 episodes came out today. Episode 1, The Adventure, and Episode 2, The Charge. Before we can even start talking about this, we gotta set our expectations back a bit and we have to clear the elephant in the room. These are shorts. So naturally, their quality is not going to be comparable to other animated endeavors. It's not going to be comparable to the current Pokemon anime, that's for sure. But that's fine, that's the nature of the beast. If you're not okay with that, then whatever. I mean, on a technical level, you will notice the flaws. You will notice that the animation is a bit choppy for certain sequences, and you will notice that the voice acting might not be the best. But that's not what the Pokemon shorts are about. That's not what Pokemon Generations is about. No, the content of the shorts themselves and the actual tone, if you look at the color palette they're using and like just the sequences of events that's going on, you'll notice that this is a different beast than what we got in the Pokemon anime. This is, I think, much more similar in tone to Pokemon Origins. Anyway, let's talk about these episodes and about the implications, because first off, let's just say they're retelling events from the games. That's what Pokemon Generations Episode 1, The Adventure starts off with. It even starts off with the old style Game Boy Color screen for these games. And while I personally thought that went on for a little bit too long, it did properly frame the Generations series. And in that, the only moment that we really see that is part of our adventure in the games is the moment Red catches Pikachu. It was a pretty cool moment. But now we get the moments following that where Red is going off and doing his thing. He goes to Ecruteak, faces off with some Whoopers, because why not? Then he goes off to Hoenn, is fighting in front of the Weather Center against a Vigoroth. He goes off to Sinnoh, is dealing with Regigigas after dealing with a Probopass. He goes off to Unova, he's at the Relic Castle, he ends up finding a certain Pokemon. He then goes to Kalos, goes to the cave, he deals with Noivern and runs into Zygarde. Overall, the adventure is very nice. It's their way of revisiting all the generations. And it's for nostalgia purposes, it totally hits me. It hit me right there in the feels. And all the way through, they maintain the Pokemon spirit by having Pikachu there. Pikachu and Red at this point seem way more impressive than Ash and Pikachu. Regardless, this whole thing, it was very masterfully done, or not masterfully done, but it was very well done, just having all those sequences, and the transitions were managed by various legendary Pokemon. It all looked very nice. The animation for those sequences whenever Pikachu was battling was also very nice. I like that Pikachu was the one that had the center focus, but when we were in Relic Cave, we did see that Ash was right behind. Sorry, not Ash. Red was right behind it, and then we also saw him on the minecart. Overall, it was a very nice sequence of events. But the question from this first trailer is, or not trailer, but the short is this canon? Because we see in the second episode that, and we saw from the trailers for Pokemon Generations, that this would be telling stories that we didn't really see in the games, but are implied to happen. So if we keep that in mind, what's the balance here? Because at one point they're just kind of hitting that fan nostalgia, just going through all the regions that we'd recognize and just kind of having similar moments that we might have experienced in the game. But it's also Red's journey. And in the context of the other Pokemon Generations episodes, the ones that seem to be canon to the Pokemon video game storylines at least, it makes you wonder. It really does. For me personally, I'm going to assume that Red actually did go on all these adventures, because if you look at it, the things that he's doing aren't really things that interfere with what the player was doing in the game. And we know Red exists as a figure within the Pokemon video game universe. We know this. We know he is in Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. We know he's an active force in the games. So, well, not an active force, but he's there in the background. He's like one of those little nice continuity details. Regardless, I want to believe that this is canon, and if that is the case, then Red is an incredible trainer, and he is everything that Ash could have been had the Pokemon anime staff not butchered him. Anyway, Pokemon Generations Episode 2. This one's pretty good because this is the one that's actually filling in a possible story that we never knew of, and that's the story of Looker. So it's pretty much some retroactive kind of continuity. Like they're putting him into the Pokemon world, but when he wasn't supposed to be there in the games. And it's all very interesting. In Looker's segment of that episode, what I really thought was the best aspect of it wasn't really the Team Rocket stuff. No, it was really how people and Pokemon work together. This wasn't people and Pokemon fighting. No, this was people and Pokemon working together to accomplish a goal. The Magnemite that busts open a door, the Machop breaking down walls, the Arcanine, burning down and melting a floor. All of this were really good segments, and it really made the Pokemon world feel more alive. And I really enjoyed that segment for it. Now, speaking more of the whole Looker thing, it's cool to see Looker. It's cool to see him trying to figure out what's going on with Giovanni. Looker, in terms of the timeline, he appears there right after the player has defeated Giovanni and Giovanni's getting ready to go on his journey. Now, this is really smart because that way it introduces an event that the player could have missed within the continuity of the Pokemon games. So it doesn't really mess with it. This is something that happens, and as a player you could have just missed it in the games, but it could have happened within the story itself. And this is really what Pokemon Generations, what its selling point to me is anyway, and I very much enjoy that. Other things I want to say about this is that Giovanni isn't a good guy, and I'm glad that this series confirms it, because it should have been confirmed already with Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Every now and again I keep hearing people saying, no, Giovanni's a good guy because he was going after Mewtwo. He was going after the Master Ball to be able to deal with Mewtwo. No, that's not a sign of a good guy. That's Giovanni just trying to protect his life, okay? And seeing that his last line is pretty much, every Pokemon belongs to Team Rocket and you guys should all just go screw yourselves. I'm going to come back and I'm going to mess you up. And it just calls back to the event in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's a good thing that Gold was able to stop Giovanni and make him permanently just abandon hope on Team Rocket. Because if he's going to get annihilated by little kids, why bother, right? Anyways, Pokemon Generations 2, The Chase. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed to see that the adults in the Pokemon world were actually trying to do something about the Team Rocket problem. And that they just were a bit too late. The kid who was involved in all of it dealt with it, got to it first. So I very much enjoyed that aspect of it. Both episodes, the first one accomplishes the purpose of nostalgia. The second one accomplishes the purpose of what Pokemon Generations I think is aiming for. And it's just filling in the gaps of the Pokemon video game and the lore. It's all very nice. So, peeps, I'm going to say that I very much loved these shorts. And if the shorts are going to be about 3 to 4 minutes, I'm okay with that. I hope that this is a sign of something good to come in the future. And what else can I say, really? They were very nice. I highly recommend you go check them out. Go check them out on the Pokemon channel. And yeah, till next time, peeps. Have a good day.